Things are hotting up. My Facebook feed has really been heating up lately. I guess it's probably because we're in an election year for the USA. So I've been getting more and more posts on my Facebook feed that are about political issues in one way or another. I did want to be able to go through my feed and show you some of these rather than just talk about this. But I don't know about you, but it's very difficult for me, I find, to relocate these things once they've slipped down into the feed somewhere. I've got, I think, about 4,900 Facebook friends. Yeah, friends, and the feed quickly moves on, and I find it difficult to locate these particular posts again. They probably will come around again at some stage, but I really can't wait until that happens before I talk about it here. So yeah, there have been a lot of posts coming on about, that Donald Trump figure, and a lot of other politically charged posts. I will reveal immediately my bias if you don't know it already. I am quite left-wing, quite proud of it, unapologetic about it. I think it's the right place to be. And so when I see a left-wing post, I'm inclined to, nod and agree and say, yoo-hoo, why, hey, that's good. I mean, that's what we do, isn't it? We like to reinforce our own prejudices, our own biases. And when I see a right-wing post, I go, boo hiss, that's terrible, that's terrible. I don't apologise for that. I don't see how I could possibly change it. But one thing I will note, and that is that the left-wing posts usually are pretty funny. I don't ever see any right-wing posts that are funny. They're all very somber, very serious, very doom and gloom. Trump supporters will post these supposedly really serious, profound images of Donald Trump apparently in thought, and I'm not really sure that's something he can really do. Apparently in thought with the line something like, this man is going through hell for our sake and he's our only salvation for the future, yada, 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 whatever it might be. Right? If someone did that for Biden, I'd be going as well. But they don't. They don't. It seems to me to mark a huge difference between what they call the right and the left in American politics. So as far as I can tell, they're all on the right, really. So as I say, that's probably my bias. Perhaps maybe I just don't find the funny right-wing ones funny. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe point me in the direction of some funny right-wing post. They don't seem to be people who have any kind of sense of humour at all, to be honest. But they're not all overtly political like that. They're not all about, Trump's going to save us or Biden's going to save us. There are, I suppose you'd call them slightly more subtle images that come up, although maybe subtle's not quite the right word. They don't really hide their intention particularly well. Two come to mind recently. One was a picture of probably from the 1920s, maybe the 1930s, perhaps during the Dust Bowl period in the USA. A picture of a poor white family, obviously living in some hut somewhere, and the caption underneath it was something to the effect of, "Oh, thank goodness for my white privilege." Right? So apparently someone out there thinks that by showing a picture of one poor white family, you can undermine the entire concept of white privilege. Need I say more? Probably to the right I'd need to say more. I think to anyone who thinks like I do, it's obvious they don't prove anything. All they really do is try to undermine the truth. That's basically what they try to do. It seems to be the entire mission of the right at the moment anyway. Another one was of an African-American soldier. I can't remember what war it was in. It may have been the Civil War. I don't know what war it was. But apparently this African-American soldier was wounded, severely wounded, but he refused to let the flag hit the ground. And the caption under that was, this should be in all NFL change rooms. Okay? Two things about that. One is, let the damn flag fall to the ground, okay? It's just a flag. Stop worshipping the flag. That's my first point. The second point is, of course, the implication that if you're taking the knee to the flag, you're somehow being disrespectful, which, of course, is absolute nonsense. I mean, in any other culture, in any other context, taking to the knee would be considered an enormous sign of respect, but apparently not in the eyes of the USA's right wing. And of course, it's not lost on me that they have an African American man in that picture, of course, because the attack is directed towards those awful African American people who aren't really quite patriotic enough because they actually take a knee when the flag is flown. I have enormous trouble with flags flying anyway, and I've posted about that elsewhere on my YouTube channel. What are people who fly the flag all the time trying to prove? Are they trying to prove, well, in my case, that they're more Australian than I am, or in your case, that they're more American than you are? It's frankly quite sickening. Unfortunately, this is politics today, particularly in the USA. It's less toxic in Australia. There are still toxic elements. We still have our crazy right-wing nut jobs. But I think we're a little bit more balanced here, a little bit more realistic. I don't think we take our politicians too seriously, for one thing, and that's a great thing. But we're also a little bit more open-minded. We're not stuck in these narrow confines that Americans seem to want to jam themselves into. I'm sorry to make this about Americans, but the reality is that most of this feed comes from Americans. One thing it does do for me is it makes it very easy to decide who I should be unfriending now so that I can make room for other people.